What's going on, everybody? Adam here with the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat NV 2.04 platform style bike rack on our 2021 Chevrolet Equinox. This is going to be a great way to get 4 bikes to and from the destination, and this is probably one of the more premium options. We are going to be able to have 60 pounds per bike if we only use 2, but also if you do plan on putting 4, we're only going to have about 40 pounds per bike. We always want to think about what kind of bikes we want to use with this. In the 4 bike configuration, the electric bikes probably aren't going to be the best option just because we'll probably go over that 40 pounds per bike. But for your fat tire bikes, we do have a 4.8-inch wheel cradle, and it's going to accept wheels all the way up to that. But one thing you do want to get is some adapters, which is basically just longer straps to be able to get around that fat tire bike. It's also going to be great for our carbon fiber frame bikes just because we don't put on any stress on our frame. We're just using a little wheel hook here, and it is going to be compatible with 25 to 29-inch wheel diameters. We do get a tilting feature with the bike rack. If you have all your bikes on here, you will probably need a friend, meaning if all these bikes are in between the end and this knob here, we're going to need a little bit of help. But for now, I can do it on my own. So kind of lift up a little bit, fold that back, and fold this down. And it does actually hit the ground because our hitch is so low on our Equinox, but this should be enough to be able to open up our hatch and grab whatever we need out of the back. To lift it back up, you just do that. It'll snap into place for you. There you go. And now we can go ahead and take a look at the adjustments that we can make. So for our different wheel-based bikes, you can slide this around to meet whatever you need. And also, we are going to have some bike cables for every single bike, which is amazing. It hides right in the end here, and we're basically just going to wrap it around whatever we need and then lock it back into itself. And we are going to get keys with our kit. Our wheelbase is about 38 inches, and the max is going to be 48 inches. So anything beyond that, we're not going to be able to use the rack, and that is just going to be adjusted here like we went over earlier. So let's go ahead and take the bike off. We have a little tab here. Press that in. Go ahead and take that off. I definitely suggest doing that first because it doesn't hold the bike upright. So now what we can do is put a hand on our bike, press in our big tab here, slide it up, fold it out, and then we can remove the bike. We want to go ahead and fold these down, and then we can take some measurements. So with any hitch mounted accessory, we're going to add a little bit of length to the back. This one is quite significant. So from the bumper of our Equinox all the way to the end here, it's going to be 49 inches, but we can cut that down a lot by using that same lever we use for the tilting feature. Go ahead and press that same tab, lift it up, locks into place. And then from the bumper to our anti-rattle knob at the end, it's only going to be about 13.5 inches. It doesn't get too close, and there's not a whole lot of wobble here, so we're not going to have any issues of it hitting our back hatch, but there is about 3.25 inches from the hatch to the bike rack. One thing I noticed is that the rear view camera is pretty blocked, so we're not going to really be able to see a whole lot whenever we're driving like this, so definitely be aware of that. From the center of the hitch pin hole to our anti-rattle knob, it's going to be about 18 inches, and from that point it's going to be about 9 inches from the ground to the bottom of our shank. We do have a 3.5-inch rise with our shank, so this is going to sit 3.5 inches higher than this point. One thing I like about the anti-rattle system is we don't have a bolt to have to thread through there. Eventually it's going to start cross-threading and stuff like that. With this, you just put a little pin through, and we're going to tighten this up, which completely secures that hitch and the bike rack together, so we're not going to have any rattling there. Since this is an extremely nice bike rack, it is smart that they included a lock. It has a little cover on it just to keep all the elements from getting inside that core. It'll eventually rust out, but with this, none of that water is going to get to it. And the good thing about this is we have a couple keys that come with our kit, and they are going to be key-to-like with our bike locks. To sum it all up, the Equinox is a pretty good looking vehicle, and so is this bike rack. I really think they complement each other, and for the growing families, you can have this extra 2 on there, but if you're not really wanting to take everybody with you on some rides, you can take this off and just use it as a 2 bike rack. Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on. And now with the fold speed bumps, these are going to be pretty much like normal speed bumps. You get to see the up and down action of the bike rack and see how it holds up. And that'll do it for a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 platform style bike rack on our 2021 Chevrolet Equinox.